I wish he was paying attention. I mean, it's patently absurd to say that he wishes that Kamala Harris would adopt some populist economic policies. Was he talking about the fact that she wanted to build 3 million new homes with housing tax credits, or was he talking about the child tax credit or the earned income tax credit? I mean, the economic policies that she laid out were numerous, and she was the one who actually.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, Mr. Bakari. Okay, but I mean, to be honest, nobody cared about that. Okay, so when it comes to the Democratic Party, if you do not know, within the Democratic Party, it's like different groups within there, and it's like your liberals, your centrists, then you have your progressives, and those two, and it's probably more like don't kill me in the comments and like, oh, you didn't. Hey, that's pretty much the gist of it, okay? But when it comes to the progressives and your establishment, your elitists, the ones that just essentially want to keep the status quo, like that's a real battle in between the party, and it's not going nowhere. Like even after this loss, people like Bakari, which I used to love this dude on CNN, like back when I was younger, like I don't know what happened. Trust, I don't know. But it's a difference between the two. And I got a few lists here to kind of get us an understanding of what the two is. So when we get into this conversation, we understand what the battle is here. So kind of the key differences, at least in my opinion, is progressive Democrats seek transformative, systematic change, often beyond what liberal Democrats are willing to pursue. Progressives are more critical of corporate ties and seek to limit corporate powers even within the Democratic Party. And I misspelled that. My God. Okay. And third is progressives often rely on grassroots organization and support from activists rather than established networks. That's just a really broad, separation between the two. Let me know in the comments if you guys have your own kind of what makes the two separate, and understanding that that's not going nowhere. And unfortunately, we need to figure this out before 2 years from now, before 4 years from now, or we're going to continue to go down the same road of the Republican Party shitting on everyone. Okay, because at the end of the day, if you're progressive or liberal or anything in between, you're going to lose. If the Republicans get into office, they're going to treat you as a Democrat. They don't care if you're progressive or not. You're going to be their enemy. Okay, so I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but we need to figure this shit out. All right, so let's go ahead, get into this conversation and see what the hell's going on.
So with a grand post-mortem, if you will, and soul-searching also, if you will, session among Democrats after their election loss underway and far from over, a popular progressive social media influencer is weighing in on just that, what went wrong and what he thinks the party needs to do now to win again, especially when it comes to young men. Hassan Piker is a social media superstar, really, with almost 3 million followers on the video streaming platform Twitch. He's a progressive fan of Bernie Sanders, so popular Democratic Party invited him to the DNC in August, and he sat down with CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan. Here's a little bit.
There's a general sense that when it comes to the world of podcasts, alternative media, I don't even know what you want to call it, that Trump did a much better job with that than Democrats and Harris.
Absolutely. I think that's true.
Harris did consider going on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But she didn't. What is it that the Democrat Party has to do differently?
Well, I think that they need to change their policies.
It's a policy thing.
Yes, it's 100% a policy thing. Which is the boring answer. Although it would be very self-serving for me to say, I'm the left's Joe Rogan, the Democratic Party should give me millions of dollars. That's not going to solve this problem. What will solve this problem is if the Democratic Party actually adopts real left-wing economic populist messaging instead of purposefully avoiding that stuff because they're terrified of upsetting their corporate donors. I think Trump speaks to male insecurities better, and I think Trump speaks to the anger that people have, whereas the other side of the political spectrum does not speak to that anger at all.
And
joining us right now,
and
CNN.
just to because I covered this in like a week ago video. I do agree with Hassan like 95% of that, but I would say I don't think Trump speaks to anything. He just knows how to listen and manipulate, because he didn't put forth really no answers. Like 99% of what he has to offer is no solutions. It's just bullshit and band-aids at that point, so that's that. And then when it comes to the Democratic Party, they just really failed at explaining the future and what they want to do continuing. They failed at that, and if I didn't hear anything, is because they really sucked at their messaging. So that's just a few things right there, but that is the key thing: policies. Okay, we can talk about everything else, whoever was nominated or whatever the case is. It's the policies at the end of the day is what should get people out there to go vote. Unfortunately, we're worried about trans people, gay people, immigrants. Like, people are stuck on dumb stuff. But if we stuck to the policies, that's what really separate the progressives from the liberals. So let's continue.
Senior political commentator Bakari Sellers and Lance Trover, the former spokesperson for Doug Burgum when he was running in the Republican presidential primary. It's good to see you guys. Thank you. Bakari, what do you think of all that? What Hassan Piker was telling Donnie?
I wish he was paying attention. I mean, it's patently absurd to say that he wishes that Kamala Harris would adopt some populist economic policies. Was he talking about the fact that she wanted to build 3 million new homes with housing tax credits, or was he talking about the child tax credit or the earned income tax credit? I mean, the economic policies that she laid out were numerous, and she was the one who actually.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, Mr. Bakari. Okay, but I mean, to be honest, nobody cared about that. Like there were cute policies. Okay, once again, I read the entire thing. It was 9.5 some pages. And I read it twice just for a single video. Trust me, I read it. It was boring. It was really dry, but I read it. And unfortunately, nobody cared about it. And once again, they offered something. They offered breadcrumbs compared to the Republican. Like, yeah, it's a whole loaf of bread, but in the grand scheme of things of what could happen, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Democratic Party accidentally cut child poverty in half, and they wrote that back, which is weird. So once again, in the grand scheme of things, they offered breadcrumbs, and people are tired of that. They want the whole damn loaf of bread and some. And yes, we deserve that, because it's great America that we all love to boast and brag about is purposely being sustained by people like myself, who go out there, put in work, pay their taxes, contribute to their community. That's what's making this thing run. So unfortunately, we don't want breadcrumbs. At some point, we're going to want the whole damn bagel store. If there's a bagel store out there, we want the whole thing, okay? So I'm sorry, no one cared or cared very little about that. So please continue.
Put forth policy plans. She put forth policy plans for African-American males. She put forth policy plans for Hispanic voters. So, I mean, I find it really troubling when people want to have a policy discussion. The fact is, more people know what was in Drake's lawsuit against UMG, and they've actually studied that more than they studied Kamala Harris's policy proposals on social media.
Sorry to burst your bubble. I don't care about no rap beats. I really don't listen to rap. I listen to more, old school R&B, you know what I'm saying? Some Christian rap, you know what I'm saying? Like really boring stuff. But once again, when you're talking to educated people who are into politics, we know. So this whole thing, like, oh, people didn't really read it, blah, blah. Nah, it's to common folk. But people who are watching CNN right now, 9 times out of 10, they done read it and they were not impressed. Like myself, I wanted to hear something about minimum wage, because yeah, you can give people the housing credit, the new child credit, the business credit. Hey, that sounds fine. But if people can't survive right now with the low quality paying jobs, what is getting a house gonna do? Yeah, having a new kid and you giving us, some kickback at the beginning of the year, but what about just on a regular basis? We need more money. Healthcare. Hey, can we build upon Obamacare and get closer to Medicare for all? Maybe? No, I don't. I'm just saying, people don't want breadcrumbs no more because that's not helping us. And with information at our fingertips, we see what the rest of the world is doing. And we're like, hey, what's going on? It's like the iPhone. The iPhone just got the calculator a few months ago. How many phones have already had Google calculators and stuff? Android calculator, not Google, Android calculators for years. And Apple's just now doing it? That's America. Like, when we gonna get with the program, bro? Come on.
So I don't really want to hear a conversation about she should have put forth more economic policy proposals when that was not the issue in this race at all.
Bakari, don't start tipping your hand on what you were reading up on just before we started this segment. Do not start tipping your hand on that. Lance, from your perspective, what do you think? Do you think the gains, the support that Donald Trump saw among young men, just kind of to this conversation, do you think it was Democrats lost young men, didn't speak to something, or Donald Trump and Republicans did speak to something?
I think it's pretty simple. I think that, let's be honest, I don't think Kamala Harris was that great of a candidate. I don't think she had an ability to connect with people the way Donald Trump has an ability, love him or hate him. He speaks normally. He's not a robotic politician.
No. He doesn't even speak normally. You're giving him too much credit. He speaks like an idiot. And people who are idiots, they speak that same language. So when Trump is sexually assaulting a microphone, that's what they love. That's what they want in their president. So he speaks idiocy, and his supporters speak that same language. So let's be honest here, okay? Don't give him too much credit.
Do you like or dislike what he says? He speaks normally. And yeah, but it wasn't just men who went to his side. It was African Americans. It was Latinos. He spoke to a broad swath of this country.
No.
Because he speaks.
First off, stop lying on black men. Stop lying on black men, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't embarrass yourself.
Normally, and he articulated a vision for this country and moving forward. And I just don't think we saw that out of Kamala Harris.
And Bakari, Kamala Harris did lay out a vision. She laid out policy proposals. You and I spoke about them a lot. Given the outcome of the election, you now have this soul searching that is happening. And James Carville is weighing in. And as Berman told me off camera, it was like, this was James Carville unplugged on the soul searching that Democrats are doing. What seemed to tee him off in what I'm about to play you is...
And we're not going to get into that old guy. Once again, I really don't care what he has to say. But the main focus is that first portion of the conversation is when it comes to policies, does the Democratic Party as a whole, okay, which, trust me, is going to be a lot more harder to get done than just us talking about it. But if you could move the needle in any direction that you want, and give me an answer in the comments down below. If you're watching this video and you gotten this far, hey, pat yourself on the back. You're a real one, okay? You're a real one because you actually want to have these conversations and not be like idiots, just having these conversations every 4 years. That's not going to work. That's not going to get anything done productively, like with substance. That's not how that works. But does the needle need to move a little bit closer to progressive policies, or does it need to just wash their hands with the elitists, with the, Nancy Pelosi's and the Chuck Schumer's, get them out the way and get people like AOC, Bernie Sanders, Cory Booker, not Cory, but Cory Bush, Ilhan Omar, like individuals who have a progressive future, a progressive policies? Or do we just need to keep doing the same? So That is my question. And in my opinion, kick them out. Like Marianne Williamson said, they need to resign. Let the new folks come in there and get some things done. We're tired of waiting for old updates 10 years down the line while every other country is chilling, which is weird to me, So once again, if you guys agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. Hit that Discord button so me and you can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.